Hey everyone, it's Daniel here from etfs. Hope you're all doing well. I want to talk about this article that comes out from Zero Hedge. It basically says Fed's favorite inflation indicator reaccelerated in April, right? So it basically says that the core PCE deflator disappointed the doves, printing hotter than expected. Headline and core number came in plus 0.4% month over month and plus versus 0.3% month over month expectation, pushing the year over year inflation signals higher. And even more focused is when you look at the Fed's view on services inflation, ex shelter, taking out shelter. Remember, right? Shelter prices have been very sticky, and they started to look at numbers that remove the shelter component to get a better gauge of how inflation is doing. Well, after the Fed deciding to look at numbers that exclude the shelter, guess what? The number is still higher than expected, right? The number is still at elevated levels, and it's showing stickiness in the chart there when you look at the X shelter component. So it's also at very much high levels, also has picked up. When you also look at the personal income and spending, we're also both expected to rise significantly on month over month basis, but did not, but spending soared 0.8%. So in other words, right, the spending and the personal income did see a pickup. When you also see the real income taking inflation into consideration, right, taking it out of the income component when you're calculating, that number also rose marginally in April. So in other words, you're basically seeing income, spending, the PCE Fed numbers, and taking out the shelter component move up higher in April, and that doesn't fit the narrative of people saying rate cuts should come in or that a pause should be there. When you look at data like this, and especially this is the Fed's favorite number, the PCE number, coming in hotter than expected, and especially when you take out the shelter, right? Just talk about when you're taking out the shelter and that component is still high up there. Well, it gives you an argument to say that there's no reason to be easing at all, and you should continue tightening. And we've been hearing that from some of the Fed members also. We've been hearing that hey, we may have to push rates or whatever it may be higher, tightening higher, because the job is not done. And the Fed did leave that on the table. They did not completely shut that door. They did not say that, hey, this is it. We're going to pause. They said, okay, we're thinking about a pause. We're probably going to pause, but we're going to continue to monitor the data. And if we think we need to pause by June, we'll do so. If not, if the data is too hot, then guess what? We're going to hike no matter what. So looking at numbers like this and the PCE numbers just doesn't justify the rate cuts that people are expecting this year. I don't think we're going to get any rate cuts unless some sort of big disaster comes out that may force the Fed to do so, and maybe even the Fed coming out later and reacting later like it usually does, causing the situation to worsen off, and maybe they will reach their inflation goal once that happens. But definitely this is something to keep an eye on, especially the X shelter component, which the Fed is watching very carefully. And if this number continues to pick up and the number continues to be sticky, then you can hear the narrative, the hawkishness that may be coming out from the Fed. And hey, don't forget also, if they pause, right? Let's say they do a pause in June. Doesn't mean that it's over. Doesn't mean that they can't go back to hiking rates, right? Let's take Australia as an example, who paused and then decided to hike rates after they signaled and signaled the pause and did a pause. They hiked rates afterwards. So you could get the Fed to say, hey, let's pause in June and then assess the situation. Inflation's still sticky. Then guess what? In the next month, we're going to hike again. Right? So very interesting. Check it out. I'll leave the link in the description for you to read up on it. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment, subscribe, hit the like button, the bell icon to be notified on the next video. And I'll see you guys around. Cheers. Bye.